As the president moves forward with his trip abroad, developments in the Senate's Russia investigation continue. The Associated Press reports that former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn plans to invoke the Fifth Amendment and decline a subpoena from the Senate Intelligence Committee.
Yeah, Flynn's decision comes nearly 2 weeks after the committee issued a subpoena for Flynn's documents as part of the panel's investigation into Russia's meddling in the 2016 election.
Paula Reid joins us now from Washington. Paula, always good to see you as well. First up, can you just lay out what the Fifth Amendment is for our viewers? And was this a surprise, or didn't you see it coming?
Well, this is absolutely not a surprise. The only thing that would have been a surprise is if Flynn had agreed to testify before Congress. You use your Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination when you don't want to say anything that could potentially get you in trouble. And here, Mr. Flynn is being scrutinized for several potential federal crimes. Potentially, there are allegations that he accepted money from a foreign government without filing the proper paperwork. He could have been negotiating on behalf of the United States without the proper authority, and also that he failed to register for some of his lobbying activities on behalf of foreign countries. This is not the kind of person who you would expect to go before Congress, take the oath, and testify without some sort of promise of immunity, which he has not secured.
So, Paula, Flynn's refusing to comply with the subpoena. How big of a deal is this?
Well, it depends how far Congress wants to take this. Once you refuse to comply with a subpoena, they can hold you in contempt of Congress. And then once they agree to hold you in contempt, they have two options. One, they have an exercise for 80 years, and that is they can have somebody go get you and put you in prison. But again, they haven't done that for almost a century. The more likely outcome is that they will refer this to the Department of Justice. They could potentially charge him with a misdemeanor and fine him up to $1,000.
So I got to be asking you this. Would Flynn be willing to testify if given immunity? And if so, what would the optics be there?
It appears he has previously sought immunity and it was declined. He was not granted that kind of deal. But it does appear that he is willing to talk as long as he is protected from prosecution. In order to get that kind of immunity deal, though, you've got to have something better on somebody bigger. So unless he has some sort of evidence that he wants to offer up on someone arguably more important than he is, it's unlikely. Exactly. A bombshell on a bigger fish. It's unlikely that he's going to get any kind of immunity deal.
All right, before we let you go, one other thing. The Supreme Court ruled that North Carolina congressional maps drawn by Republicans in 2010 had racial motivation. What are the implications of this ruling?
Well, under Supreme Court precedent, you can draw district lines to protect your majorities, but you cannot draw district lines if they in any way discriminate on racial lines. And this is the second time in just a week that the High Court has sort of pushed back on attempts in North Carolina that they perceived to be trying to disadvantage minorities when it comes to voting. As you noted today, the Supreme Court struck down attempts to draw 2 different voting districts. The court found that this was based on racial discrimination. The Republicans were not just trying to protect their majorities, that too much of this was based on race. And then just last week, the Supreme Court refused to hear a case where a lower court had held that when North Carolina rewrote its voting laws in 2013, that they were trying to suppress the minority vote. So it's been 2 victories for civil rights advocates in the state of North Carolina in just the past week.
All right, Justice reporter Paula Reid, thank you so much.